And this is Vivian with us today, right?
Yes.
Very nice to see you. And you have had very dramatic events in your life in Denmark that are related to this so-called new disease. And maybe you could tell a few words about background, how it started, and so on.
Yes, well, back on 11th of March 2020, when WHO pronounced that this is a world pandemic and Denmark and every other country closed down, I I fought as much as I could to protect my family. I thought that it was the right thing to be an activist in a way, to encourage people to isolate themselves, to stay at home, to teach their children from home, to have activities with your closest family. And I also demonstrated against kids rejecting online education as well. They wanted to go back to school, and I said, wait a bit more. It'll soon open up. So let's fight against this virus. I was very enthusiastic, but also very afraid. And at one demonstration where these what I now call freedom fighters, but back then here in Denmark you have the term mask rejectors, mundbindsnægtere. Actually, if you see the picture behind me, it's a painting I've made with a mask and a person with a mask, and it says "I can't breathe." And at this demonstration, I experienced not being able to breathe because of the police. I um, I was at a demonstration where there were about 50 freedom fighters saying the demonstration was called "Make Love, Not Social Distancing," and I went there alone, fighting for them to go home, to not contaminate everyone and stuff like that. And there's a video of that online as well.
Just 1 second so that I make it clear for our listeners and viewers. You were there to demonstrate against people who wanted to stop the restrictions.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. I was fighting for restrictions. I was fighting against people who wanted to be free. And then the police said that I had a legal demonstration. I had gotten an approval from the police, and they said that they had cancelled my demonstration because I disturbed the other demonstrators. But I thought that was the whole point of being there, right? And then they knocked me down. They arrested me, knocked me down. Blackie. They sat on my head till I couldn't breathe. And at that same time, my father, who is at a nursing home, he has schizophrenia. He walked up and down the halls yelling, "Police, police, police." And then afterwards, after my arrest, I got arrested. They said, "You're not following police orders of removing yourself from this tree." I wanted to stay by that tree. I thought it was my human right to stay by that tree. Then they arrested me, and in the police station, I was beaten by a police officer. Um, I asked for some water, and he said, "You can get some water when I say you can get water." And then I asked what his badge number was, if it was GO or G0. And then he said, "You're too stupid to become a teacher. You can't even read." Because I studied to become a teacher. He knew that. And then he told me, "You should be very afraid because we can make it so that you will never become a teacher." And then I looked him straight in the face and said, "I am not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of anything." And then he hit me with his arm and knocked my head up against the wall. And they put me back in detention. Previously, when they arrested me, I sang in the prison because I thought they can't take my voice. They can put me away physically, but they can never take away my liberty of speech. But when they arrested me again, I was in despair. I was heartbroken. And I thought, how can this fascism, how can this evil be in this world? How can they treat me this way? And then a man in the cell next to me explained to me everything about the control, the fascism, the evil, satanic reality of the world. And then I woke up. That was my awakening. I've always been spiritual and I've always believed in God, but this was like Adam and Eve by the tree being banished, and seeing evil, noticing the difference between good and evil.
Couple of things that I was thinking of. First of all, of course, it sounds very Orwellian, like it's from something from George Orwell. Like my cellmate and we were both caught because we were trying to say something. And of course, honestly, normally, like our countries, both Sweden and Denmark, in other things, are perceived to be number one, very much alike. And number two, both of us countries normally top all the rankings for free speech, free rights, human rights, everything you want. We are free, liberated Scandinavians, and we do whatever we like. But in this particular case, if I'm understanding the situation correct, you were beaten by the police for peacefully expressing your opinion. Is that correct?
Yes, I was too scared to complain back then because there was only one other police officer who saw it, and the man in the cell next to me who heard the knock of my head against the wall. He is actually, he is the police are looking for him, so he can't witness in trial. And it was also the only right you. I don't know how it is in Sweden, but it's this way internationally, as I know. The only rights you are given when you are arrested, one of them is, you have the right to remain silent, but the one that's one of those who that they sometimes forget, but the one they always constantly say is you have to pay. You can complain and you can press charges, but you have to pay if you lose. And as a student, as a mother, as a not, I don't have that much money, it's like a threat in itself. Like you have to risk everything in order to defend yourself. So I didn't dare back then to complain, but I will now with what has happened to me since then. I have noticed that the injustice that we meet as human beings is made for us to change it. We have to change all of the negatives into positives as much as we can. And yeah,
So
but it's funny. We are so free and stuff, but when it comes to it, it's yeah.
yeah, we can live like one woman and three guys. We can marry another man, woman, transvestite, or anything. But now it's clear that there is one thing you cannot do. You cannot voice your opinion on the corona matters, it seems.
And it's funny because I was on the other side. I was on their side. And what I noticed is that you can also see in the video, some officers wear masks and some don't. And that's because they have the liberty of choosing for themselves. And that's what I don't understand is how can you have other rights than the ones you're trying to protect. You're going in people's houses, you see homeless people, you see all sorts of people, but you are free to wear a mask or not, while other people at their work are forced to. I can't believe the difference in in heresy, like the elite, like it's terrifying to me that we don't have equality in our society. I can't believe that neither the government nor the queen nor nothing should be above the people. Like, no one is born into being more righteous than others. And even though I fought on their side, they put me down because I shouldn't be too proud, too loud, too expressive. And I think that's the root of our society, is this, um, we have to be bold in wanting to be rich and famous, like having designer clothes or all of these fancy things. But when you're proud of fighting for justice, or see mistakes in the system, injustice, you become this terrorist, like, as if you're, yeah. And also being ill. The fact is, here in Denmark, I don't know how it is in Sweden, but we have this badge, that gives us the right to. Oh, I don't have it on me here. But
Uh,
we have this badge where we show that we are free, to not wear masks. But the only way of achieving it is by being either mentally or physically ill. You shouldn't be ill in order to be free. Um,
One thing that I wanted just to yet again clear it for our listeners and viewers who might not have English as their mother tongue or active language. So, what you're saying is that in your experience, the justice works, but it works mostly for the rich. So, if I understand you correct, you mean that in order to receive justice, you have to have money. Is that correct?
that's exactly the point. It's very interesting that also, let's take, for example, Facebook. It's a private company. They can have all the ads they want as long as they're sponsored. But why are there direct references to John Hopkins University in relation to how many contaminations there are? How come people are being thrown out for speaking their truth about their fears, in regards to the injection? And also, like, we say here in Denmark that we don't have censorship. People all around me say so, but I have had my Facebook permanently deleted without ever knowing why, and without ever having the chance to defend myself. I see that as elite, taking over and saying what is allowed and what is not allowed, to be discussed. And I think it's also not only about money, but it's about the agenda. It's about, does it fit the narrative that the government wants to express? I think that the Great Awakening, or whatever we might call this movement, this revolution around the world, is one that I believe is the solution is spirituality. The solution is that we are transforming from a material, um, controlling, um, unjust system into a spiritual, equal, love-based relationship to the divine. Like, we all are connected. Each and every person who is in doubt in relation to the vaccines feels as if they are connected to other people, and that there is more between heaven and earth. And yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, that is absolutely correct. And we people who have this sort of doubts have been speaking to each other from pretty much all over the world, and this is sort of bringing us together. And there are all kinds of people from France, Belarus, United States, Russia, New Zealand, whatever the country might be. But do I understand correctly that also there is large part of this that this Facebook, you're a mother, right? And I presume that Facebook for you was also in a very large part a memory of your life. Like before, first thing, if the house was burning, everybody was telling it, the first thing that people would grab would be photo album because it is their life. This is their memories. And when we come to the end of our life, the only thing that we have left is feelings, senses, memories. We can't bring back with us sort of to the afterlife or whatever you call it, all the money, but we can have all our emotions, feelings. And if I understand correctly, that they deleted your Facebook, it means that they, in a way, deleted your memory, your past, and in a way executed, like killed your virtual personality.
We are in an increasing digitalized world, and my Facebook account was my connection, my appreciation of receiving recognition of my family. I have pregnancy photos. We revealed our daughter's genders, and I got engaged. I have so many memories. I can only hope that I have some of it saved on my computer, but Facebook was my security line. And what is even more difficult are the comments. People's comments congratulating me on different occasions. And also in this freedom fight, I have so many messages from people uh, saying thank you to me for fighting this fight, for speaking so honestly and openly about my life and my experiences, because that gives them the courage to do so as well. So it's a part of my identity that's been lost, definitely. And I will fight with teeth and nails to get it back, because I think Facebook has a lot of responsibility in regards to also our children's lives. They see themselves through Facebook and they learn through Facebook. Facebook has almost become an educational platform. It gives the humanity basically information about what to do. So it's very interesting what is being censored and what is being deleted in regards to our future. Um, and yeah, it's only just a piece of the puzzle. I have a lot of fights. There are a lot of fights, and we've not won yet. We are still, I mean, a lot of people say that, oh, we've already won. They are being busted on different things and stuff, but people are increasingly being vaccinated, and a lot of people don't even know that there is a revolution. They think that we are just a very small minority all around the world, but very little. And yeah,
Trust me, there will be, I can guarantee you, thousands, most likely tens of thousands of people, if not more, who will be watching this video all over the world and hearing about this story. But so, if I understand correctly, first they killed your virtual personalities, they executed it, and then they also, in sort of real life, in non virtual life, there was a prosecutor who tried to put you to jail. Is that correct?
it was, I mean, yeah, I there was a doll that was burned at a demonstration in Copenhagen on, I think, in January 2020. And that doll had the Prime Minister's face on it, and it says, um, she must be. The direct translation is, it's like when you kill animals. It's what she
Slaughtered.
slaughtered. Yeah, yeah, in a sense, but not necessarily to be eaten or whatever, you know. There are, that's the thing about everything. The detail, the narrative, the word, the meaning. It's it's essential to understand that the law is through interpretation. I was I was persecuted in regards to one paragraph. And okay, I'll explain it. I'll explain. So these men burned a doll at a demonstration with her face on it and saying she must be slaughtered. What she said, it's a direct quotation almost of what she said about the minks in Denmark. We had 7 million minks being they were killed because of COVID-19 contamination. They thought that in regards to the percentages of mink, they had to slaughter the whole population of mink in Denmark and finalize the corporations or the
And then there were mink zombies. I think everybody almost in the world have heard about mink zombies rising from the grave.
The thing is, a year has passed by and it's still an issue. At one point, there was the discussion because we in Denmark have a lot of beautiful, clean water
Mm-hmm.
underneath the surface, and the thing was that these mink were contaminating our water supply. That was the theory, at least. And now they're actually planning to burn all of the minks. And a year has passed by. I can't even understand why. I mean, how they're still there. But anyways, these minks were killed, and at this demonstration, the door was burned, and 3 men have been charged with 16 years for burning the door. And
Uh, so, so, so,
therefore,
so, so, so. In Denmark, there was demonstration, and then there is a doll, maybe like a scarecrow, a doll,
yeah, exactly.
on a stick, which sort of is supposed to, like, as a joke, as irony, they make a scarecrow that sort of looks the same way as Prime Minister.
I mean, it had her photograph
Yes.
face on it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A scarecrow with a face on it.
A
Yes.
mannequin, actually, a mannequin doll.
Yes. A doll with a paper on it. A doll with a paper on it. And for having a.
How you're explaining it, when you hear it this isolated, it becomes more and more ridiculous. How
Well,
you can condemn someone a life sentence for a doll.
it,
I could understand if you point a gun at someone and say, I'm going to kill you, or, I mean, we all know that this demonstration was political, that we wanted her to take responsibility for her decisions and to get to be prosecuted in trial. I mean, it's an exaggeration in my perspective, and yeah.
we fully understand that it was a political satire, and the same way as, for example, sometimes there are politicians on drawings whose heads are put into a donkey's ass. It does not mean that somebody's actually going to catch a human and sort of insert it somewhere into an animal. The same way we totally understand that it's a political satire when they were burning this sort of a doll. I understand. But still, if I play it sort of frame by frame, so 3 men came out to a demonstration with a doll and a paper on it. And this event has led to those men being charged. The government has tried to put them to prison for, what was it, 14 to 16 years, or what did he say?
16 years, yeah.
16 years for burning a doll.
Yeah. And it's also, I mean, it might be double. So paragraph 81D in Denmark states that if a crime is corona related, you get double penalty. That was
Mm-hmm.
one that I could have gotten under as well.
So they created, it's not actually a joke, but it's a fact that in Denmark there is a double standard. So if you speak about corona, there is actually a double standard, literally.
Discrimination, yes.
Okay, no, I just meant in terms of the law. I'm
Yeah,
trying
sorry. Yeah, I'm being
to get into my head. You're a little bit too smart for me now. I'm trying to get all of this into my head.
okay.
Uh, so there are like 2 law books. One law book for people who are doing anything that has not to do with corona, and the other law book for people who have dared to say something about corona. Do I understand you correct?
Yes.
Wow. That's just wow, because
81D, paragraph 81D.
yeah, but,
If
but this this sort of throws everything off the boat. This is over. It's everything thrown overboard. Like because normally we always say that there is justice and the law should be same for all. But here we have literally government saying that there is a double standard for this.
In the same way as if you are from a ghetto, you get a double penalty as well. If a
Okay.
in a ghetto. Um,
Oh, yes, and just so that I have it mentioned, as far as I understand, in Denmark, there is one man who has burned a Koran on repeated occasions.
Rasmussen,
So,
and he got help. He has been protected by the police with about 41 million kroners in labor force, labor work.
as long as you sort of speak out, as long as you demonstrate on the issues that are in the mainstream, that are in the main frame, then you're okay because you're right kind of demonstrator. But if you're demonstrating for wrong kind of opinions, then you get a different law book.
I think it's quite interesting to find out if it's illegal to burn the flag. Is it?
I don't know.
I'm about to find out, I think.
Oh, no,
I
you're
burned a
kidding.
mask at a demonstration. I stood like the Statue of Liberty with mask burning in a small jar. I've donated it to the Danish museum as well, which has been collecting Corona stories, and I am sharing my stories with the museum as well. I hope that the thing is with all of this going on, this is a part of world history. I encourage for everyone in this fight to collect as much material about this corona pandemic and what you feel, what you have artistic expressions about this time because you will be the future. Our kids, if we all survive this, our kids will admire our courage for speaking up and keeping up the fight.
Yes, so let's go back to you as being the person who did have the courage. And it was also in regards to you, the government tried to put you in jail. The prosecutor was trying to give you 12 to 16 years.
Yeah, 8 to 16 years.
8 to 16 years.
Yes, and that was in relation to these three men. I started a group on Facebook where I wanted to protect these men. I wanted to gather members for a citizen proposal to the government of reevaluating their legislation. That means a group to gather people and try to change this law so they didn't wouldn't have to go to prison for that many years. And the next day, the police came, went in through my door, went into my house. They were in my hall, and my dogs were barking, and I went after them and saw these two policemen, a woman and a man, in my home. And they said, "You have threatened a governmental official with their life through a posting of a picture, and we are now going to arrest you. And we want your telephone and your computer." I was actually also recording them when they arrived because I thought this is crazy. And they took my phone and closed the videotape. And when they arrested me, they took me into detention where I received a number for an attorney, which didn't work. Um, but they gave me an attorney, and also they took my fingerprints. They recorded my tattoos. I have a cross here and a boom blast and whatever. And my tattoos, my DNA, my height, my details, and then shortly after they released me. But they said that I could either sign now and have them get my things, or I would have to wait a long time before getting my things back. So I should just accept them taking my things now because anyways they will get it any which way. So yeah, I didn't sign it when they actually took my stuff, so I didn't know what rights I had. I was totally blackmailed into giving up my freedom. Um, and
Uh,
yeah, and then they charged me 8 to 16 years for for threatening to kill the Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen of
Uh,
Denmark.
Now, if I will try to sort of repeat what you said, and you will tell me if I understand you correct. So, you made a photograph.
No,
No?
I took the picture from a news article that told the story of these
Okay.
three men. So I just used the picture as a cover
Hmm.
for the group.
So there was some sort of printed newspaper that you had, and then you took a photo of the
It was
newspaper.
online, but yeah,
Okay, you took a photo from online newspaper. And you for posting a photo on Facebook, police came to your house and the state tried to put you in jail for 8 to 16 years for posting a photo which was already in the newspaper. Is that correct?
that is correct.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry for my reaction. I just think it's ridiculous when I think about it. They could, they threaten me with not seeing my kids grow up. I have a 3 year old and a 1 year old for posting a photo. It is insanity. And the thing is, I have been released since then. They have they have stopped the charges because the prosecutor said that they wouldn't win the trial in court. And I can only agree they wouldn't win, but why did they charge me then? How can you charge someone well knowing that you are going to lose? That means that you have done something wrong, something you knew wasn't right, if you knew that you wouldn't win the case. And therefore, I've made a complaint and I want compensation of 25,000 kroners. There are, for each thing they've done wrong, there is in the law a certain amount of money you get for not for taking my computer without my signature, for entering my home without a warrant from a judge, 1300. We need as citizens to know our rights, and we need to change the system to give us our rights. We have to make the law fit our needs. It's not their needs. They The thing is, the only way my case can be reopened is if someone complains about me, that my release. And I just think it's so ridiculous. I'm about to complain myself of being released. If it weren't because I want to see my kids grow up, I would press charges on myself. Like, of course, I want to go to court with them. I want them to be charged with unjustly prosecuting me, because I think that's going on all around the world in different ways. We're being accused by the devil, and we need God's strength to have faith in ourselves and our morals. We are not to be forced to do anything. That and
Well,
they tell us that we're wrong if we know we're
yeah.
right.
Let's say this would happen. You this what you described. If this story, what you just told me, if it would have happened, let's say in some country which is perceived to be the wrong type of country, just the things you told would have happened maybe somewhere, I don't know, in with you in, let's say, China or something like that. There would be thousands of people right now from the same politically correct people who would be coming out on the demonstration with placards. They would be like
I know.
free free our hero. There would be t-shirts sold of you everywhere, and people would be, and just to sum it up. So first of all, you have not been violent in any way, correct?
No.
You have not tried to be violent. You have not threatened anyone. You have not been violent. Okay, that's one. Number two, then police have beaten up you. You have spent some time in a cell, in some jail-like conditions.
5 hours that time.
Yeah. So beat up, being thrown into a cell. And after that, the government charged you, threatened to put you in jail for 8 to 16 years. Do I understand you correct?
Yes, sir. Yes.
And this situation, this where you lived under a threat, how long? How long was it?
I think, I mean, since everything started or from,
Since they charged you and until they dropped the charges.
I think about a month,
Hmm.
a couple
So
weeks.
yeah, so all that time you had to live with this threat existing in your life, sort of like pushing down on everything, I can imagine.
It was a very big trauma because the thing is they took my phone and I was lucky to have an extra phone for I am the president of the political party Community Spirit and I had a work phone, so to say. I wanted to have a phone to be in contact with people and hear their story and be inspired to how I can fight this politically. And if I mean, I thank God for me having that phone because if I didn't have that phone, I wouldn't have been contacted by the media. There was a news media who found me my number and then my story spread and I came into different Danish television shows and news programs and I my story became known. But the thing is, I had 2 minutes of national TV time out of half an hour, out of 7 days a week, out of a month of vaccination, testing, and all those sorts of things. So my story, not everyone knows about me, even though I thought that they would.
Well, I very much hope that we will give the full 40 minutes to you. And in conclusion, just so that people could sort of look it up and read up on you, on your story on internet, could you say like your name, for example?
Vivian Anita Alexandru. Vivianita Alexandru. It's spelled
Yes,
out that way. I don't know if that helps, but
absolutely,
running all
absolutely.
tags. But yeah, um, thank
And
you so much for giving me the opportunity of sharing my story.
it was a great interview, and I understand that at times it was very emotional for you. But thank you so much for being on this show, and I hope that both you and your family will overcome this situation, and perhaps even through some sort of law, even punish the people who did something wrong to you. We
Thank
all hold our fingers for you.
thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. You as well.